Gonna be on the cam now. Look at that. There's Rafi. We're gonna start in about 3 minutes. Okay. Yeah. Just don't touch it, okay?
Yeah, actually,
Don't mind it.
I was active duty.
It's gonna be light there.
Still at house. Okay.
It's kind of cool, isn't it?
We both have,
Huh? We're being recorded
What's
right
in the
now.
background?
I was gonna say, so you didn't follow your.
On the,
No,
Right there.
no.
Look, turn around.
Keep up the Hebrew.
Here, watch this. That's this cam,
You're gonna come visit.
and then this one is that cam over there. Go stand in front of the table, and then you can see yourself.
Okay.
Go stand in front of that table. Go over here.
Sure.
Okay, now look over here,
You kind of split in location?
because it's that cam right there, okay?
Long story.
All right.
Not quite.
All right, we're gonna start now, Ralph, okay?
yeah, what's in the background over there?
No, it's just the same thing. This is just my YouTube. It's the same thing. There's about a 40-second delay. So that's what that is.
What?
Okay, all right. Why don't you go sit down now, okay?
It's a 40 seconds?
There's a 40-second delay, yes, sir.
Yeah, I guess so. It's been a while. I've been coming here a while. Yeah. Oh, wait, are you doing this online? That's right.
It is online. Everything you say is being heard by ones and twos of people.
Literally two.
And they saw Rafi. I'll have him come up later. Say hi to everybody. Okay. Okay, we're gonna start in about a minute. Yep.
Why is it not running like the other one?
What's that?
Why is it not running like the other one?
Why is what?
Why is it not running like the other one?
Because I don't need it. This one's closer up. This one's far away, so I don't need as much light. Okay, here we go.
Look, this area doesn't.
He likes being up here. I told him he can lead if he wants. You guys can be seated if you want. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Agudath Israel Etz Ahayem Synagogue here in Montgomery, Alabama. I am Rabbi Scott Kramer. Welcome to our service, both those in person and those online. I hope everyone is going to have a nice Shabbat, and I know I am because my family's in town, and we're going to have a nice Shabbat dinner afterwards. We are praying out of Sidor Lev Shalem, which is downloadable as a PDF file from our synagogue's website. We begin tonight on page 5 with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 11, Psalm 95. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, nekad mafana betoda. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, bizmirot naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, nekad mafana betoda. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, bizmirot naria lo. We continue in the English. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, let us greet God, raising our voice in song. Great is Adonai, a greater sovereign than all other deities. God's hands formed the earth's deep mountain crests too are God's work. The sea is God's, for God made it. Dry land was fashioned by God's hands. Come then, let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai who formed us. For Adonai is our God, and we are God's flock, sheep in God's caring hands. If only you would listen today to God's voice and not become hard-hearted, like the people at Merivah, like that time at Massah in the desert, when your ancestors tried me and tested me, though they had seen what I had wrought. For 40 years I was troubled by that generation, and I said, these are a people whose hearts have gone astray. They do not know my way, so in anger I swore they would not enter my rest. Arba'im shana kut bedor va'omaram to'eh levavim ve'im lo yad drachai asher nishbati v'yapi im yivaon el menuchati. Page 13, Psalm 96. Shiru ladonai shir chadash, shiru ladonai kol haaretz, shiru ladonai baruch shamo, basru meyom leyom yeshuato, sapru vagoyim kivodo, bechol ha'amim nifliotav, ki gadol Adonai. Mehulal miyob no raho al ko Elohim lai 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 kiko Elohe amim melilim vadonai shamayim asa had vehadar lefanav az v'tiferet b'mikdasho avu ladonai mishpachot amim avu ladonai kavod v'oz avu ladonai kevod shemo seu mincha Vahu lechadzro dav lai 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 shtachavu ladonai be'adrat kodesh chilum mipanav kol haaretz imrum vagoyim Adonai malach avtikom tevel balatimot yadinamim be'meisharim yismechu hashamayim v'tagil haaretz Ayiramayamu melo yalo sadai vechol asher bo lai 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 aziranenu kol hatziyar lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz yishpot tevel betzedek V'yamim be'emunato, yalai la la la, yai la 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 la, yai la la la, yalai la 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 la, yai la la la, yai la 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 la, Ya Elai. We continue responsibly, page 15, with Psalm 97. Adonai reigns, let the earth be glad, the many distant lands rejoice. Clouds. Flashes of lightning illumine the land. The earth watches and trembles. Mountains melt like wax at the approach of Adonai, at the approach of the Master of all the earth. Worshippers of idols, be shamed for praising false gods. All that is deemed supreme bow before God. You, Adonai, are above all that is earthly exalted, all that is worshipped as divine. Light is sown for the righteous, and joy for the upright. Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous people, and thank God as you pronounce the divine holy name. Or zarula tzadik ulesholahev simcha, simchu tzadikim badunai, vaudu lezecher kadeshu. Page 17, Psalm 98. Mizmor shiru ladonai shir chadash, Ki niflaot asa Hoshia lo yimino Uzaro wakod Shuadia Adonai Yeshuato Le'eno goyim gilad tzidkato Zachar chasto ve'amunato Levei Yisrael Ha'u cholav se'aretz Et Yeshua Eloheinu, Horiu Ladonai Kol Haaretz, Bitzchum Veranenu V'Zameru, Zamru Ladonai Bechinar, Bechinar V'Kol Zimera, Bechatzot Rod V'Kol Shofar, Horiu Lifnei HaMelech Adonai, Hiram Mayam Umaloho, Tevel V'Yosh V'Eva, Neharot Yimcha Uchaf Yachad Arim Yiranenu Lifnei Adonai Kivo Lishbot Haaretz Lishbot Tevel B'Tzedek Ve'amim B'Meisharim Yalai Lalai 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 Yalai Lalai Lalai Yalai Lalai 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 Yalai la 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 Yalai la 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 Yalai la 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 Yalai la 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 la. We continue responsively, page 19 with Psalm 99. Adonai reigns, nations tremble. The one enthroned amidst the cherubim makes the world quake. A sovereign strength lies in the love of justice, and you forge the paths of truth, judging Jacob righteously and justly. Moses and Aaron among God's priests, and Samuel among those who called upon the divine name, called to you, and you answered them. You spoke to them from amidst the cloud. They kept your covenant and all you gave them. You answered them, Adonai, our God. You were a forgiving God to them, even as you punished them for their transgressions. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lahar kadosho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. We rise, Psalm 29, page 21. Mizmor leDavid, Havu ladonai b'nei Elim, Havu ladonai kavod vos, Havu ladonai kavod shemo, Ishtachavu ladonai behadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, El kavod hirim Adonai al mayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai be'adar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vaishabech Adonai et al ze halvanon, Vayarkidem kemo egel, Livanon v'siryon kemo ven rehemim, Kol Adonai chotzev lavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholel ayalot, Kol Adonai vayuvehechalo kula omer kavod, Adonai lamabul yashavaye, Shev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz liamo yiten, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. You may be seated. Even I get off kilter sometimes. Page 23. Lecha dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabila. Lecha dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabila. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu elam yuchad, Adonai echad u'shamo echad, L'shem ol tiferet v'litila lecha, Dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabila, Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mikor aberacha merosh mikedem nesucha, Sov maaseh b'machshvat chila lecha, Dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabila, Mikdash melech ir milucha, Kumitzi mitocha hafecha, Ravlach shevet Bi'emek habacha, V'hu yachamohu alaychem lalecha, Dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabila, Hitnaharim me'afar kumi, Livshevig deiti fartech ami, Ayad ben Yishai beit alachmi, Korva el nafshi gei alalecha, Dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabila, hitoreri, kiva ore kumi uri, shir daberi, kivod Adonai alayich nigla, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabila, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabila, lo tevoshi v'lo tikami, ma tishtochachi umate mibach, yechesu ani ayami v'nivneta ir ahaltila, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabila, v'hayulev shisa, sho asayich v'rachaku komiv alayich, yasis alayich Elohayich, kimchaz chatan al kala, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabila, yamin usmo tifrotzi v'et Adonai taritzi ayadish, ben parzi v'nismecha v'nagila, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabila, boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uvetzala, tochem munei am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. We continue page 27 with Psalm 92. A psalm, the song of the day of Shabbat. It is good to thank you, Adonai, and sing to your name most high, to proclaim your love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. You gladden me with your deeds, Adonai, and I shall sing of your handiwork. The arrogant do not understand. The fool does not comprehend this. The wicked flourish like grass, and every evildoer blossoms only to be destroyed forever. Surely your enemies, Adonai, surely your enemies will perish. All who commit evil will be scattered. As my enemies gather against me, my gaze remains steady, for my ears listen and hear. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in our God's courtyards. In old age they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming, Adonai is upright, my rock, in whom there is no flaw. Tzadik tamar yifrach ki erez balvanan yiske shetulim bevet Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu Africhu od yenut uvun beseva deshenim verhananim yeyu lehagid ki yashar Adonai turi below of Latam, page 99, Psalm 93. Adonai is sovereign. Rome did splendor, girded in strength. The earth stands firm, not to be dislodged. From earliest time you were enthroned, you are eternal.
Rivers rise up, Adonai. Rivers raise up their roar. Rivers raise up their waves above the roar of the vast sea and the majestic breakers of the ocean. Adonai stands supreme in the heavens.
In your house, beautiful in its holiness, your testimonies endure, Adonai, for all time. Again, Shabbat Shalom to everyone. Thank you for joining us both in person and online. I can't tell if the air conditioning is actually working in here or not. At least we're not outside, I guess. So in the Mishnah, in our oral law, in Tractate Ta'anit, it talks about the two most joyous days of the Hebrew calendar. Now, if you were to think of the Hebrew calendar, what one day would you think would be included in the top two joyous holidays? Anybody? Purim is a good answer. It's incorrect. Hanukkah is a good answer. Also incorrect. Rosh Hashanah is an interesting answer. Close, but not correct.
I mean,
Yom Kippur is one of them.
end of Yom Kippur is very joyous.
And why would that be?
Because you get to eat again.
Because we have a reset. All of our sins were forgiven, okay? And it leads us in that interregnum between Yom Kippur of a Day of Atonement and the happy and the joyous festival of Sukkot, okay? So what happens at the end of Yom Kippur? What is that Torah reading that we read at Mincha on Yom Kippur? That strange Torah reading. Anybody remember? That's the one where it talks about everyone we're not supposed to marry. Don't marry your sister. don't marry your mother. Don't marry, your first cousin on your, it goes on, and you go, what is this about? Why are we reading about this? Because at the end of Yom Kippur in ancient Israel, the men that were not married were supposed to go out and look for wives. Supposed to go out and find a mate. And so they had to read on at the end of Yom Kippur who not to pick. So in essence it becomes like a Valentine's Day. Okay? What would the second joyous day of the Hebrew calendar be?
Another end of fast day?
Well, actually close, but no. Okay? It happens actually the week after Tisha B'Av.
I said it's not Tisha B'Av.
No, it's not Tisha B'Av, but it's a week later on a day called Tu B'Av. Tu is Tet Vav, so it's the 15th day of the month of Av, not 9, but 6 days later. On Tu B'Av in ancient Israel, they celebrated the vintage. The grapes would be put into a big vat, and as the Mishnah says, the virgins of Israel would stomp on the grapes, and when they were done, it was like a Sadie Hawkins day where the women got out of the vats and went and looked for husbands. So in essence, it's a second Valentine's Day. Jewish calendar does 2. Okay? So Yom Kippur, at the end of Yom Kippur, and Tu B'Av are the most joyous days in the Jewish calendar. Now, I didn't want to talk about that. What I wanted to talk about is because we are observing we are beginning the book of Deuteronomy this weekend. And the book of Deuteronomy is always read. The Haftorah is called Chazon, which is called Shabbat Chazon. It's the Shabbat preceding the holiday of the lowest point in our Jewish calendar, the holiday of Tisha B'Av, which is next Wednesday night. Okay, so we have this dual holidays, which are about 6 months apart. Okay, maybe 7 months apart. Okay, we have Yom Kippur, which is a fast day. Okay, we have only 2 major fasts in Judaism, Yom Kippur and Tisha B'Av. When we say major, okay, it means it's from sundown till 3 stars the next day. So it's about 25-hour fast. All the other fasts we have in Judaism are daytime fasts. Okay, so Yom Kippur and Tisha B'Av are the 2 major fasts. Yom Kippur is considered the white fast. Okay? It's a spiritual cleansing day of purity, of purification, returning to be one with God. Tisha B'Av is called the black fast. Okay? Yom Kippur is the pinnacle, is the crest of the Jewish calendar. Tisha B'Av is the trough. Okay, it's the most negative part. And what happened on Tisha B'Av? Well, we don't really know, but we commemorate it as the day that both of the temples were destroyed. Okay, the book of Deuteronomy begins with a rebuke of the Israelites and a warning of what might happen if they stopped listening to the word of God. In the Haftorah, Israel's destruction is predicted because they cared more for sacrifices and its particulars than each other, of each other, of all the people. They cared more for sacrifices and the letter of the law than they did for each other. This results in the destruction of the first temple in 586 BCE. In the weeks before Tisha B'Av, we count down to this day. We count down, okay? Beginning with the 3 weeks before the beginning with Shiva Asar B'Tammuz, the 17th day of the month of Tammuz, and this commemorates the breaching of the outer walls of Jerusalem, signaling the end of Jewish sovereignty in Judea on Tisha B'Av. So the 3 weeks before Tisha B'Av, we start counting down. And the 3 weeks leads to the 9 days before Tisha B'Av, of which we are in right now. And the restrictions get a little bit more severe. There are varying customs of not eating meat during this time, except for Shabbat, not performing marriages, and against attending celebrations, getting more severe as we approach Tisha B'Av. But that is not our personal experience with trauma. We usually count up and away from tragedy. We have 7 days of Shiva, 30 days of Shaloshim, and 11 months to stop saying Kaddish. A year of Shana for observing yard